Hi everyone, it's Diana Marchand from Raw Foods Made Simple and a Busy Woman's Guide to Health. So what I'm going to show you today is buckwheat, how to rinse buckwheat, what it looks like, things you can do with it. So I have some soaked and sprouted buckwheat here. In this bag I have the buckwheat grouts. These are organic. You can often buy them at health food stores or some fine grocery stores. In the bulk section, the organic ones. So if you want to take a look at these they look like they're really hard, but actually, I mean, they're hard when they're in this state, but you can actually grind them up. Buckwheat flour, so of course buckwheat is non-gluten. It's actually a seed, and it's related to rhubarb. So that's actually, it's not really a grain, but they call it a grain. It's also high in protein and fiber, really high in potassium, magnesium and calcium, folate, niacin, to name a few, omega-3s and omega-6s. It's a really filling grain, I guess you would call it a grain because you use it like a grain. You can also grind it and make your own flours. You can grind it, and if you have a Vitamix food processor or a coffee grinder, probably works the best. So you can grind that and put it in your baking. What I have here is this is some sprouted buckwheat. Maybe if you can get close and see some of it. It has little tails on it. So you take these buckwheat grouts. So that's what that is. You take these buckwheat grouts that I'm going to take here, pour them in a bowl. And then you just add filtered water. You can go about 2 in 1, like 1 cup to 2 cups of water. It doesn't matter. They will swell, so just make sure that you've covered enough water so that when they swell overnight or all day, that they'll absorb the water and there'll be still a bit of water. Probably soaking, you can soak them for at least 4 hours all the way up to like 8 hours. And then once you soak them, you are going to rinse them. So these have already been rinsed, but I'm going to show you again how to do it. So you would have them like this after they soaked for 4 to even 8 hours. Put them in a strainer like this, then over to the sink. So let's say here's your freshly soaked buckwheat grouts. And then you take some filtered water and you're just going to pour it over. At first, when you first soak them, you can use tap water to rinse them because you'll see slime come out of them when they've only been soaked for 48 hours or so. The first time you rinse them, they're going to be really slimy. A lot of slime's going to come out of them. So you have to rinse them really well when it's the very first time. These, like I said, have been rinsed and soaked a couple times and they've sprouted. Okay, so back over here. So what you're going to do once you soak your buckwheat is you're going to rinse them like that after 4 to 8 hours, even all day, all night, however long you want to soak them. You rinse them really well, then you're going to put them back into the bowl with no water, and then put a plate on top of the bowl and let them sprout for about 12 hours, okay, about 10 to 12 hours. You will see then they'll get those little tails on them. Then you have to bring them back to the sink again and rinse them. So you can rinse them twice within that 10 to 12 hour period, or once, but just make sure you rinse them again. Once they've sprouted, then you can use them. You can put them in your crackers if you're making dehydrated crackers, or you can use it as a breakfast cereal. You can boil it just like you would oatmeal, or once they've been soaked and sprouted, you can eat it as is once it's soaked and drained really well. It's totally soft enough to eat, and you can mix it with things like apples and cinnamon and raisins and honey or maple syrup, maybe a little bit of almond milk or something. So that's totally fine to have it like that, or you can cook it. And once you sprout the buckwheat, you can also put it on dehydrated trays and dehydrate it until they're hard and crispy. Then they are called like buckwheat crisps, and they can be used in raw granola or as a snack, or soaked again anytime you need them, and they will last for a long time in that state. So that is the goods on buckwheat. I will hopefully do a post on that upcoming on my blog, Raw Foods Made Simple. Thank you.